Good morning, folks. I wanted to do a quick review because I wasn't able to record the trades that I took in the last 2 days, but I will be going over them now. This being the first Tuesday, the 1st of August, we had the Asia session range, and I think we can clearly see that at this point I was watching to see if we can sweep sell side or buy side first. We swept sell side at this point, right? And as the model would say, we now look for a displacement to the upside. We didn't really get the displacement, but at this point this was a bullish candle. This 3:45 a.m. candle was a bullish candle. So I saw we finally took out the 3:10 a.m. candlestick. That became my market structure shift. That was the point I would be looking for a bullish order block or a BC in this case. So when price returned back into this range, into this wick to body on the 3:35 candle, I took the buy. I took a trade with the stop loss being at the low. And then we rallied up a little bit after that, was in profit, and then of course you can see price just melted off from there, took out the stop loss and respected this BC from a higher time frame, I believe the 1 hour, but eventually price just kept on falling off from there. So this was a losing trade on the Euro USD, and very similar trade was taken on the pound, with a difference in the pound because pound GBP USD actually had a cleaner setup. What happened with the pound was, of course, I had my midnight opening price and my 130 true opening price. We got a sweep in liquidity at this point, clearing Asia low, and at this point I was waiting for the displacement to form, right? So after some time we got the displacement that gave me the market structure shift, right? And we had 3 PDRAs for entry. We had this order block, this bullish order block, wick to body, we had this BC, and we had this smaller BC from this candlestick high to this candlestick low. That created the BC right there. So I had a pending order set at these 3 PDRAs with the stop loss being at the low, and price printed, tagging into all 3 of them, 1, 2 and 3, and rejected immediately, pushing us into profit. I liked the immediate response, but I didn't like how it started dwindling after that, and of course went into a loss, and eventually after some time tagged the stop loss at a loss. So the AM session, the London session for the currencies wasn't the best, and of course from there during New York I don't really look at the currencies anymore. I end up moving over to indices, in this case with S&P 500. So moving on to the S&P 500 on the 1st of August to deduce what market structure was like. We had our Asia session range being very, very bearish on the 1st of August, and London session continued that until we even got to the previous. Actually, wait, I just realized I was referring to the market structure from yesterday instead. Yeah, this was where I wanted. So London session, Asia session was ranging, London session puked, and I was looking to see if we can get a sweep in London so we can target the Asia and London high, right? So we did exactly that, and we got a displacement that gave me a market structure shift at the 730 true opening price. So because this was a true opening price, I considered it to be my market structure shift. We have two obvious PDRAs. We have the order block from the wick to body, was looking to see if we could support on that, and we had the BC, the fair value gap over there. So I was looking to see if price could return to any of those levels, and we did tap into the BC. I had an entry there and went into profit for a bit. I was targeting London and Asia high at that point, remember, but I was very cautious about the new week opening gap being used as support, as resistance. So I moved the stop loss for this trade to break even, and it got immediately tagged. But I re-entered when this was falling off. I re-entered at the full closure of the BC and the order block, with the stop loss being at the low. And of course we got that immediately tagged as well. So this new week opening gap was used as resistance to push lower. Seeing price play out, I left it the whole of New York AM session because we didn't do anything after that. We really didn't move for the entire AM session. And then at lunchtime, I decided I'll trade during the PM, even though this goes against my rule and I should have closed the day off there. I looked at lunchtime. This is our lunchtime range from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. We have our low, we have our high. Technically the high is at this candlestick high, but I use this for clarity and removing ambiguity. And I watched to see if we can raid any of the two. Price printed and eventually raided the buy side of lunchtime. So after raiding buy side, of course, the next thing would be, can we see a displacement to the downside that creates a CB in this case? And we continued making a new high, and there at that point we made the displacement at that point, and it created a CB. We had a market structure shift. Price retraced perfectly to the CB, which is also by a bearish order block, the 3:30 p.m. candlestick. So I had this trade in, but it was a very high lot size. I guess in a way I was revenge trading in this case. My stop loss being not at the high, being above the new week opening gap high, because I was essentially considering the possibility of using the new week opening gap as resistance one more time. And it also aligned with the 5 handle or 6 handle stop loss that I normally would have, because it's normally 5 handle stop loss, but I make it 6 to count in the spreads. So my stop loss was basically 7 handles. So at this point I was risking about $1,000 and watched price as it played out. I experienced a bit of drawdown and eventually went into profit, but market closed at this point 4 p.m. with a bit of profit but no real move to the downside. I guess the most spectacular thing happened a little bit after that. We got a new day opening gap. We displaced lower by so much. Keeping in mind that my TP, my take profit, was at lunchtime low, which was just gonna recover the losses from the day. I gained $1,600 on each entry that I took, because I took 2 entries. It was supposed to be 3, but I fell asleep, to be honest, waiting for this market to play out. And yeah, we got a displacement lower overnight, creating a massive new day opening gap, and that was how my day closed. So moving to the actual trade summary, we can see on the first, I took losses throughout the day with all those setups that I explained, and at this point going with 7 lots times 2 instead of times 3, because it was supposed to be 21 lots. And you can obviously see the profits that was made from that. So that put me up the day by $2,300. And yeah, that was basically the trade that I took. and how things panned out on the 1st of August 2023.